Claire Lally isn't related in any way to Pat Lally. She is, however, a member of the Labour Party, a carers champion sitting on Joanne Lamont's shadow cabinet, and a Better Together activist, something social media picked up on, resulting in a Twitter tirade against Claire.
It's been really bad. It's been really hurtful, and it's been really vicious. And I have experienced some level of debate in the past, but not to this level.
As the fracas hit the front pages, Campbell Gunn's boss revealed he'd ordered his advisor to apologise.
The mistake was that one of the special advisors thought she was Pat Lally's daughter-in-law. Now, she's not Pat Lally's daughter-in-law, and I've told the person concerned to apologise for that. I don't regard that as an insult, incidentally, being Pat Lally's daughter-in-law, but I've told the special advisor to apologise for any offence caused.
Campbell Gunn then issued a statement saying, "Nothing in the email I sent was intended in any way to be a personal slight on Miss Lally or question her absolute right to express her views, and I apologise unreservedly for the upset and offence that has been caused to her and her family." But there have been calls for a full inquiry after accusations there may have been collusion between Campbell Gunn and so-called cybernats to form an orchestrated campaign against Claire.
You sent out a message that this woman is not a real woman, that she's not to be believed, that somehow her views on the Constitution means that she is not a legitimate person to be heard, despite her track record in standing up for carers. And then across the board, people come out and accuse her and abuse her. That doesn't happen by accident, in my view, and it's not the first time it's happened, and I think there should be an investigation into the extent to which there has been coordination.
Campbell Gunn has denied any such collaboration, saying the assertion by the No campaign that I had any involvement in the coordination of such activity is completely untrue, and one of those involved in yesterday's social media storm has denied any collusion.
Was there any collusion?
No, there wasn't.
Has anyone from the Yes or Scottish Government ever attempted to direct or influence your posts or made contact with you?
No, not in any way, and I wouldn't let them if they tried.
Claire has refused to accept Campbell Gunn's apology.
For the past 48 hours, it has been absolute hell, and that's because of him. An apology's not going to stop and take away the things that have been said about me and my family. It's more of an insult, I think I'm getting, than an apology.
Gunn is now at the centre of allegations the ministerial code has been breached and calls for him to resign. What the advisor is undoubtedly guilty of is becoming the story, something his boss is unlikely to be happy about.
Well, earlier I spoke to Susan Dalgety, a former advisor to Jack McConnell when he was First Minister, and in Bristol, Stuart Campbell, editor of the pro-independent website Wings Over Scotland. Stuart Campbell, do you think it's appropriate for the First Minister's advisor to brief against a mum, Claire Lally, who's chosen to get involved in politics?
I think it's appropriate for him to point out if there have been misrepresentations made about her. It seems from what I've heard that he was wrong about her relationship to Pat Lally, in which case he's quite right to apologise for that. But I think it's perfectly fair to point out that she's not the ordinary member of the public that she was being presented as.
Susan, did Better Together mislead people by representing Claire Lally as an ordinary mum?
I'm not here to represent Better Together. I'm here to talk about the 4 million people in Scotland who will make their decision on the 18th of September, and our right as citizens of Scotland to speak out about the devolution debate and say whatever, the independence debate, and say whatever we wish to say, as long as it is within reason.
Absolutely, Susan, but let's just return to the point. I just want to ask you your take on this. I mean, Better Together, we're representing her as an ordinary mum. She is active in Labour politics, and she's in Labour's shadow cabinet, and that's the point we want you to respond to.
I don't think she's in Labour's shadow cabinet because I don't think she's actually an elected representative.
She's a carers champion in the Labour shadow cabinet.
Can I just say something? I think she's an extraordinary mother because she cares for her young child 24 hours a day. She has taken it upon herself to represent the views of carers, not just to the Labour Party, but I think to the First Minister, Mr Salmond himself. She is perfectly entitled to say what she thinks about the independence debate. I used to be the chief press officer for a former First Minister, for Jack McConnell. There is a very clear code of conduct, and it says that advisers should not indulge in personal attacks. If they do that, then they break the code of conduct, and it is then up to their minister, in this case the First Minister, to take appropriate action.
There's been a backlash online against Claire Lally. She's described it as a very personal attack. Is this the dark side of the referendum getting darker?
Well, I don't know. I haven't seen any people attacking Claire Lally. I've seen people angry that she was misrepresented by Better Together. I haven't actually seen any personal abuse. Susan's going on about Campbell Gunn attacking her. I didn't see any attack at all. Firstly, as far as I understand it, he sent a personal email to the Telegraph. It wasn't a public comment that he made. And all that he said... all that he said was that she was a member of the shadow cabinet, which she is, and that she was Pat Lally's daughter-in-law, which is wrong, and which he apologised for. Now, I don't see that being Pat Lally's daughter would be something to be ashamed of in the first place. How is that an attack?
Susan. Stuart. Let me explain to you how the media works in Scotland. I think you're based in England.
Please do, Susan. Please do.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're the special advisor for the First Minister responsible for communications and relationships with the media, everything you do from your government account, or for your personal account for that matter, while you're in that role, is professional. It is the First Minister's special advisor, media special advisor, talking on the record officially to a journalist. So that email to Simon Johnson, I think it was, at the Telegraph,
Susan,
was a personal attack on Claire Lally.
Susan, Campbell Gunn has apologised for that.
Oh yeah, I saw that, and I'm absolutely delighted he has apologised. And I'm sure that Campbell, because I know Campbell, I'm sure Campbell's absolutely gutted.
Susan, do you accept that there is abuse coming from both sides in this referendum campaign?
I think this debate gets very heated, particularly on social media. My husband is forever telling me, get off Twitter because it's just upsetting you. However, I think it's very important that all of us, whether we're ordinary mums or whether we're politicians or members of the media, that we're allowed to take part in this debate free of rancour.
OK, Stuart, should the official yes or no campaigns take more responsibility for what's happening online?
No, this is a nonsense. Firstly, I noticed that Susan hasn't actually explained why telling the truth about Claire Lally constitutes an attack. There was no attack that I saw. But secondly, no, you can't hold the campaigns responsible for what on the yes side tend to be, you know, anonymous Zoomers on the internet, and what on the no side are the people who set the tone of the campaign. Alistair Darling just called 1 million Scottish voters Nazis. Ian Davidson has called the SNP fascists. Joanne Lamont calls nationalism a virus. That's not some lunatic on the internet with 20 followers. These are the official heads of the campaigns. They are the ones setting the tone. And of course, if you go around calling people Nazis, people are going to get upset.
Susan,
can I just say that Alistair Darling never, ever called anyone a Nazi, and the New Statesman
Alistair Darling said anyone that said the SNP were blood and soil nationalists,
no,
which is a Nazi term.
Stuart, he didn't say that, and the New Statesman has taken that back, so let's not go down that road.
The New Statesman said, are they blood and soil nationalists? And
Stuart,
he said,
they retracted that last week, so Susan, carry on with what you were saying.
Yes, can we get back to ordinary people in this debate? Because this is what it's about, right? On Twitter, on social media, there will be mad people who sit in their attics at night, tapping away, insulting everybody that they come across, quite often using the C word against women, which is completely and utterly unacceptable by anyone, but it's done a lot by the trolls in this debate. What we want to do, the leaders of both campaigns should show by example that this campaign should take place in a civilised manner. I mean, this is about our future, so we all should be allowed to debate it.
Stuart, the Yes campaign needs to win over women voters. How counterproductive is this incident going to be about Claire Lally?
I don't think it's going to be counterproductive at all. I don't know anyone who actually thinks this was an attack on Claire Lally. Nobody said anything bad about Claire Lally. People just complain
Lally thinks it's an attack on her.
Claire Lally is a hardcore political activist for Labour. Of course she's going to say that.
She calls herself an ordinary mum,
said,
Stuart.
Yeah, I know that. Of course she calls herself an ordinary mum. Most ordinary mums aren't in the shadow cabinet. Most ordinary mums aren't in Labour's National Policy Forum. Most ordinary mums aren't secretaries of constituency Labour parties. She is involved in formulating the policy of a political party. She is not just an ordinary mum.
Susan, very briefly respond to that. Very briefly.
Yes, yes. We're all entitled to take part in this debate. Everyone who has a vote in Scotland on 18th September, everyone who lives in Scotland is entitled to take part in this debate, whether you're a member of the Labour Party, the SNP, or, like the vast majority of people, not a member of any political party.
OK, thank you both for joining us on Scotland Tonight.